From the brass.
Donald Rumsfeld. Are you a lizard?
Can you imagine if I answered that?
To the boots on the ground.
Where'd you hit her head?
No, I always aim center mass. It leaves more room to be able to hit the target.
Opie and Anthony salute the brave men and women protecting this great nation. Red, white, and boo! And now, to take you through some of our favorite military-themed moments, here's your host, comedian, and guy who went to Iraq once, Bob Kelly.
Hey, it's Robert Kelly, host of the You Know What Dude podcast. Heard weekends here on the Opie and Anthony channel, as well as riotcast.com. Anywho, welcome to the Opie and Anthony Red, White, and Boo! Our horrible attempt at saluting those who have served their country proudly. On today's show, we'll feature the Vietnam tapes of U.S. Air Force DJ Dave Rabbit, Governor and former Navy SEAL Jesse "The Body" Ventura, former Secretary of State Donald Rumsfeld, U.S. Marine Corps Gunnery Sergeant and Full Metal Jacket star R. Lee Ermey. Right? Ermey. Ugh. Who the fuck has a name like that? Just fucking... Can't we just say R. Lee? The dude from Full Metal Jacket. Nobody needs to know his name. Former Kennedy and What is this? Former Kennedy Administration Secretary, Secret Service Agent Clint Hill. You had Clint Hill in? No shit. Fuck. Could you make this fucking more difficult to say? Former Kennedy Administration Secret Service Agent Clint Hill. For you dummies, the guy grabbing the brains. Ooh. But first, we'll start off with U.S. Navy SEAL Chris Kyle. He's known as the deadliest sniper in U.S. military history. In the fucking U.S. military history. That's the history of the U.S. military. That's around 57 years. Look it up. He's promoting his book and bonding with Anthony over artillery. It's not artillery, it's guns. Artillery is like a cannon. It's not fucking artillery. Dude, what the fuck is artillery? Who uses that fucking word? He's bonding with Anthony over guns. I was there too, and I asked him brilliant questions like, are you good at Call of Duty? Apparently he's not a fan.
Worst of the Opie and Anthony show.
We got Chris Kyle.
How you doing? How you doing?
Promoting American Sniper in bookstores and Amazon right now.
Pleasure.
So, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Just what a great story, man. Sniper, most lethal in U.S. military history. That's a hell of a title to have.
I got to thank the publicist for that.
Yeah, huh?
That's definitely, I was trying to get a different story out there, but that's the title.
Oh, were you?
I'm trying to show all the sacrifices that military members go through, and then the families, after we leave, what they have to go through and the sacrifices they make.
This is a better selling title, though. Nobody's going to buy, like, I mean, it's easier to sell this, and then you get to it in the book, because, like, you know,
right.
A sniper with a heart probably wouldn't do as well as this deadly sniper.
Yeah, people just want to hear about... well, the fact of the matter is, snipers, there's a great mystique around the sniper. Especially lately, we've heard a few of the stories that have come out with the Somali pirates and stuff. Just these, the image of those snipers taking those shots at the pirates in the ship, really gets people's fascination up about snipers.
Definitely.
And now, how did you get into it?
Well, when I went into the military as a new guy, my chief finally said, okay, if you want to go to sniper school, I will nominate you. At the time, you had to be nominated, and chief was willing to say, you're a good enough shot, I will send you to sniper school.
And you were a good enough shot because you had shot previously your whole life, pretty much, right?
Grown up with weapons, hunting my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
How long had you been a SEAL by that point?
It was a new guy, so I didn't go to be a sniper till I came back from my first deployment, which came back in '03. So, in fact, when you come back from deployment, you get about a month off to where you can try to readjust back into civilian life and learn your way around. And I end up taking, instead of that month, I took about 2 weeks off so I could go straight into sniper school.
And what was it about sniper school and becoming a sniper that kind of fascinated you?
Well, I thought they had all the cool toys. They have the scoped rifles, and they got the really expensive guns. They're taking precision shots. I thought, wow, those guys are really good. You know, whatever they want to shoot, they're hitting.
Yeah.
What is the first time you shoot somebody? And this is such a civilian question, but I'm a civilian. What is it hard for you the first time you do it, or?
It definitely was. Especially my first shot was on a woman, and.
Yeah, fucking bitch.
Wow.
Yeah. What was her problem?
No, she
supper cold.
Yeah, what game did she talk to her?
she was out in the town greeting the Marines during the invasion, as the Marines were coming into the city there. The people were coming out to, you know, show their support for the Marines, so the Marines wouldn't shoot them down. Let them know that, hey, we're not fighting you. You just go ahead and come right on in. Well, she came out into the crowd. She had a grenade on her. She pulled the pin and was walking to the Marines.
Whoa.
Now, how did you know to keep focus on her, or were you watching from a distance, or were you close?
I was close. I was in the city already.
Okay.
I was up in top of a building watching, trying to keep track of the crowd, and my job was anything that we could try to soften the target for the Marines, that so less of them would have injuries, then that was our job.
So now what did you have to do before you took that shot?
I turned to my chief and I said, this is what she's got, this is what she's doing, and he kept saying, you got to take her out, you got to take her out.
What if she was just eating an apple? Yeah, that's what we do. How did you know, like...
Give her a bigger hole in her head to put the apple in.
What made you look at her out of the whole crowd and go, there's something weird about that?
Well, first of all, the grenade was the Chinese grenade. It's yellow in color. And just, you know, when you're out there trying to watch, all of a sudden you see a color flash. It definitely draws your attention to it.
But why did they use yellow?
Yeah.
It's silly.
That's a little too obvious.
Place on ground, light fuse, get away.
Yeah.
It's kind of racist, too.
Oh, please. That is something. So I guess you have to be up on other weapons and what the threat could be that's coming up to some of the guys.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you can tell, too. It's not just the color, but once you actually, the color is what drew my eye to it, but then once I started actually getting it in the scope, zooming in on it and trying to really identify what she had, it was easy to tell that it has a fuse on it, and you can see the way she was holding it, what was in her hand, and so I'm describing everything to my chief of what I see, and
right.
He says, that's a Chinese grenade.
So now the chief gives the order, or gives you the permission to take the shot, and this is your first kill at all, or your first kill as a sniper?
No, I wasn't even a sniper. This was my first deployment. I was just on a sniper rifle.
Oh, okay.
And he told me I had to take the shot. So
Where'd you hit her head?
No, I always aim center mass. It was, unless, if you go for the head, it just leaves more area of error.
Right.
So try to shoot center mass. It leaves more room to be able to hit the target.
Double tap?
Well, it was just single shot. I mean, big enough caliber, it takes one round.
What were you using?
It was a 300 Win Mag.
Oh, my God.
And you were proven right. She had a grenade, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. As soon as I shot her, she went down, the grenade went off.
Her iPod fell out of her hand. She had a grenade case on it.
Grenade case.
Just trying to be hip.
She was a hipster. She's just gone out of Amazon. It's a cool little grenade case. Yes.
It's terrible.
Have you ever played, I mean, this is a stupid question, but have you ever played Call of Duty and those video games and been a sniper and just sucked?
Oh, yes. What pisses us off, we go overseas on the deployments or whatever, and we could link up to play online.
Right.
And then you got the headset on and everything,
Yep.
and you're playing a 12-year-old kid stateside.
See, this is the same thing.
And he is talking mad crap. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, you have no idea.
I knew it. That's hilarious. I knew it. Oh, those little bastards all the time.
You suck. You couldn't fucking shoot me. I nailed you.
Really? Did you?
Did you? I just killed 150 guys for real, you shit dick. But if you say I'm a real sniper, they'd be like, no, you're not. Fuck you, faggot. They would never believe you anyway.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's hilarious.
I mean, they'd be like, I wish you're a real sniper in this game because you suck. What's the longest you ever went in battle without sleeping? I mean, it's just you and you have another guy with you when you're sniping to give you the range and all that stuff, right?
Well,
Or is it just you?
no, I didn't go out and just me. And usually when I went out, especially in the city,
Yeah.
you go out pretty heavily, so there's about 16 of us. I mean,
So it's not like Billy Zane where you and some dude and you're sitting out for 3 days and you kill the one El Capitan.
No.
And then run for your life to get the helicopter. So you're just with the troop and it's just in the city. You're not sniping from, 2,000 yards out, right?
No, I did that one time, but,
Okay.
2,100 was my farthest shot. But other than that, most of your shots are anywhere from 200 to 400 yards.
Really? Wow.
Wow. And what did you train on mostly? What kind of rifles?
Well, it all depends on with the mission. Before I'd go in, I'd look at overhead imagery, try to figure out what's the possible longest shot I could take.
Like the video game with the loadout. Like, yeah, all right, let me trade this. I'm going to grab this.
Hey, on Call of Duty, what sniper should I use? What rifle should I use?
Ask the 12-year-old.
Exactly.
Hey, I want to ask Chris about the numbers because the government won't confirm that you killed 255 people.
In the book, it says over 150.
Over 150, but
Yes.
you know it's more. You know your number.
I'm happy with 150.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to have the... Is it harder for you as a person if the number's higher? Like, it sounds cool to us because we're fucking nerds. But is it like, the guy who actually did it, do you go, no, 150's fine. I don't need 250.
No, I mean, I don't even care about the number. And as far as the record goes, I don't care because it's going to be beat. And I hope it gets beat soon. That way someone else will be in the limelight. But
Yeah.
But a lot of people say you killed up to 255 people,
I've seen that all over.
and he's smiling. So
What is a confirmed kill? Someone else has to see you do it, or how do they confirm a kill?
Well, every time I went out, because I wasn't alone, there were always guys there to see it and to actually witness it. Every time I would take a shot, I have to take down, make notes of the time I took the shot, the distance the guy was, what he was doing, what he was wearing, what he was carrying.
Wow.
What I shot him with, the grain of the bullet, what the temperature
It's like an
was.
expense report.
Yeah. Wow, the business end.
You have to do that like right then, or do you have can you wait till you're safe?
Well, usually I
To
had,
break out a... Hang on one second. Hold that fire.
well, usually when I was taking my shots, there was an officer who was on the radio. That was his job during that time, was to be the radio watch to keep the base notified of what we were doing. He would take down the notes. When we'd get back is when we'd actually fill out the formal report.
Like cops.
Right.
What the fuck? Those cocksuckers just to run out in the street with a grenade, and we got to fill out reports
Yeah.
with the grain of the...
This wee shit.
there's no way anyone.
I do it on Call of Duty. I protect the country.
Okay.
There's no way anyone would write you up for a speeding ticket at this point, right?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Out on base, you actually will get a
You
speeding
can't
ticket.
pull out a card like, look who I am.
No.
Yeah, right. Look who I am.
Yeah, you don't have like a gold bullet.
Well, you'd be
you can
surprised. I
pull.
mean, a lot of people view, especially other people in the military, SEALs with we have this huge ego and this bad attitude, and it's come from in the past. Guys have thought, you know what, I'm better than you are. So it's taken us a long
But
time.
you are better than me.
Yeah.
In every way.
Yeah.
Your facial hair connects. Everything about you, your accent, everything.
No, it took us a long time showing these guys, look, we're not better than you are. We're just trained differently, and we were more specialized in an area than you were. It doesn't make me any better. And we were working with the Army conventional, showing them, hey, I'm here to help you.
God, you
we're
have
all
to-
on the same team.
You have to obey traffic laws. That sucks.
Did you ever have a problem with the ethical side of it, where it's when you boil it down, it's killing people, and I wonder how difficult that is for you, or was at some point, when you really think that semantics is one thing. That's okay, if I wasn't given permission to do what I did, I'd be what would be considered a mass murderer, really. And since I have been given permission from the government, I'm not, yet it's the same end result. How do you deal with that internally?
Well, I never looked at it as I'm there killing people. I looked at it as I'm there saving people. My job was to make sure everybody I deployed with came home.
Right.
And all the allies, everyone surrounded me, my job's to protect them. I want everybody as much as possible to be able to come home.
Yeah, believe me, that's how I feel. I just brought that question up because these assholes want to know.
I was thinking that Chris must think you're such a radical lefty pan.
I know.
Because I listen to you like, what? That's
believe me.
You have no idea who just asked that question,
He has a
Chris.
50 cal.
I actually,
Like a real one. He brushes his teeth with it.
I brought this for you to sign for me. It's the
It's a 50 cal magazine.
50 cal mag out of the
It might have a few guns.
M107. I got it home. I got one of those. It's a pisser to shoot, isn't it?
Ant doesn't give out numbers, but he owns a bunch of guns.
Yeah, somewhere between 4 and 2,000.
I love them.
You guys should definitely hang out.
I actually wanted to ask you something about the Barrett. I know when I've fired this, the concussion off of it, I describe it as feeling like you have the flu for 3 seconds. It's a concussion, or feeling like you were just popped in the nose for like a second. How do you shoot this for as long as you do, and not just lose your mind? Because it's, I mean, in training, obviously, when you're out in the field, you're probably not shooting it that much.
Right. Out in the field, I never took the 50 cal out.
Oh, you didn't?
Now, it's big, it's heavy, the rounds weigh a lot. If I took a 338 Lapua, it weighs less, the rounds weigh less, and I can actually shoot farther and more accurate.
Oh, okay.
How big are those bullets? I don't know anything about guns compared to a 50 cal.
They're definitely smaller. Everything's smaller than a 50 cal.
Yeah. The 50 is crazy. So what would the 50 be optimum for?
Vehicle.
Okay, yeah. Shooting through engines.
Actually, we started making, because they were saying the 50 cal sniper rifle should be used for vehicles, but anytime you shoot a vehicle, you're going to shoot it through the engine block. It's not going to automatically seize up and stop.
Right.
The best way to stop a vehicle is to shoot the driver.
The driver. Yeah.
I guess so. And then it just veers off to the left or the right. Hey, what about do you have numerical rankings in what you? Because I know very little. What was I'm thinking about Lee Harvey Oswald and how people said he couldn't have made that shot. But he was actually a sharpshooter. He was actually a great shot. I don't think he was probably what you can do. How hard is that shot to make from what you know about it? The shot that Oswald...
The Oswald shot?
Yeah,
on Kennedy.
Hey, it was, 100 yards, 200 yards? That's any military guy can take that shot.
It's not as impossible as they've made it seem over the years.
Well, I haven't examined the angles and everything else, but now for just the distance, which I think it's actually only 100 yards or less, that's an easy shot.
When you was there ever a time when you had to shoot somebody and you looked at them through the scope and it was like, I don't want to do this one for whatever reason?
Definitely. I've passed on shots before. There's times to where you don't think it's the right thing to do, so you don't take the shot. I passed up a kid coming out to pick up an RPG. I know my rules of engagement said that I was supposed to kill this kid because it's a crew-served weapon, RPG, belt-fed machine gun, grenade, mortars. I'm supposed to kill the person carrying that. But at that point, I could not convince myself that this kid, knowing that he's going to take it back someone else to use against me, he's not the one that's going to use it, so I couldn't take that shot.
You said something fascinating in there. There's people walking around right now that have no idea that you've passed up the shot.
I've passed up a bunch of shots.
Up.
They don't know how lucky they are to be alive.
They're just walking around right now having no idea that their head was, or their body mass was in a scope.
There was also times seeing a person, knowing they're bad,
right,
and because of my rules of engagement, witness them actually commit something that triggered me hot, but I couldn't take the shot because when I saw them again, they didn't have the weapon.
What triggered me hot? Do you use that in your
cleared hot? I was allowed to take the shot.
Do you use that in your regular life, joking around sexually when you get
trigger me hot, baby, live action?
You're just joking around.
You're joking around.
No, my wife is kind of sick of the military. I'm trying to leave the lingo out.
Only non-military zeros do that. Military guys don't do that. They just fuck. We're the ones who want to sound like we're real men.
There's someone on the line.
I'm using trigger me hot.
There's someone on the line saying that you were in a bar fight with Jesse Ventura. Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Oh, let's get into this.
Yeah, I would like
to talk about it. How do you explain
There
that?
was
He
a,
and I
there
had
was
a
a
very
verbal
unpleasant-
altercation in here.
But he
between-
used to come on our show, and it was all right. We didn't agree with a lot of the stuff he said, but we had an okay
Thank
time.
you for your service.
But then we had a moment where
Right.
he walked off our show because we just killed him with knowledge.
Yeah,
we
had
really did.
a big argument.
Especially Jimmy.
I wanted to ask how you felt about him as a SEAL, but if you had a bar fight, were you stressing the difference between when UDT or what happened?
Being UDT, I fully respect that. SEALs were born out of UDT, so I consider him, yes, he's a SEAL. He's part of the family. I don't draw a distinction between them.
Okay.
What happened in the bar?
Yeah, what happened? You were in a bar and
Oh, Jesus.
We had just come back from our 06 deployment when we lost our guys. We were having a wake for the guy who got the Medal of Honor, Mikey Mansour, and he happened to be there. He was coming in for a graduating buds class that he was going to speak to, and he was upset with the war. He doesn't agree with it, which is fine. You don't have to agree with the war. I just get sent there. I don't have to agree with politics. I signed up to serve the country. The country tells me what to do. He was making it known that he did not agree with it, and I approached him and said, hey, you know,
It's not the place.
I appreciate it, but we are having a wake. It was the SEAL bar there in town. I said, we're having the wake here. The family's here. I would appreciate it if you just kind of keep it down. He told us that we were killing innocent people over there, men, women, children, that we were murderers. And I said, you know what, we can all have our differences. That's fine, but please just don't upset the family.
Yeah.
And then he said that, you know, we deserve to lose a few guys.
Holy shit.
Jesse said that?
Yes.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
So, by the way, all you guys out there that attacked me because I fucking attacked him, good. I'm glad to hear that. He really is a douche. And what happened when he said that to you?
Did you grab his ponytail?
Nah,
You slugged him? Good.
I punched him.
Good for you.
Where'd you punch him?
Bravo.
in the face.
What happened?
That's when you take a headshot.
Well, I mean, Jesse Ventura, he's
A big man.
He's an older guy, too.
Yeah, he's
And
an older
Of
guy.
course, all the guys then started making fun of me. So, what geriatric you going to beat up today?
Yeah, of course.
Well, wait, when you hit him, did he hit you back or?
No, he went down.
You
what
like
you
out?
gonna do?
Like was he
I
like?
don't think he was out. It definitely took him off balance. He went down, and
But the ref wasn't looking. They never are.
Did his walker fall with him?
I think he fell out of his wheelchair.
He's a big dude.
Wow,
man.
he
Yeah,
went
he's-
down.
He's a big dude. He's still Jesse the Body. I mean, he's an older guy, but he's still a big, strong
but he
guy.
is
man.
an
Did he
older guy.
awkwardly get up and have to walk out of the place?
I don't know. I took off running because the cops were already outside, and as soon as I hit him, I knew SEAL party, SEAL bar, cops are watching. They saw the whole thing happen, so I took off running.
Yeah.
So Jesse Ventura said to a SEAL in a bar where there was a wake for a SEAL, "You deserve to lose a few guys."
Yes, he did.
So
Repugnant.
you make me even happy because he and I got into a very, very nasty exchange. Because I was defending kind of action.
Al-Qaeda.
Yes, and I said, you know what, they're nice people, Jesse. No, I said that I kind of agreed with the Afghanistan action, and he was saying that I'm just a guy who didn't serve, who was for the war. And I'm like, but that's not where I'm coming from. I'm not saying, fuck, just go out and fight. It wasn't at all. So we just got into an ugly thing, and it got personal, and
What an ass he
he's
is.
a douche, but he really hates my guts. So I'm so happy you did that, because I'm not a man. Like, I couldn't stand up and punch him. What happened was, as we kept arguing, he patted me on the back hard, and I knew he was like, as he was leaving, he's like, thanks for your service. But it was like one of those, and for me to match him, I would have had to pat it, and I'm like, I'm not going to do what you did. I wish I was him, though. How great would that have been? Just slug him. So I insulted him.
Yeah, I'm sure I just caught him off balance and he tripped.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that must have been
maybe,
it.
yeah.
Sure.
Good for
that
you,
must
man.
have been it.
Is this when you? What is this book? This book focuses on your entire life, or is it mostly about the military, or is it about your experiences over in Iraq?
It's mainly about my experiences in Iraq. It has some of my upbringing about being a cowboy for a living and then going into the military, but it's trying to concentrate on my relationship with my wife and the sacrifices that we went through as a couple, not just as SEAL, but any military member would go through.
Now, you said you were a cowboy for a living. Before you went into the military,
Yes.
you were like a cattle rustler?
Rustler.
Not a rustler. That's a hanging dance.
Yeah, John Wayne. He
Wait,
used to go
is that
across to Mexico and steal cattle.
Is that proper terminology?
No, cattle rustlers steal
Cattle rustler's the guy that stole
no,
the
I
cattle.
didn't. I meant Wrangler, not rustler. What do I know?
Wrangler. Why did you just use your hand to make a lasso?
Oh my God, Jimmy just made a lasso move.
Because I was trying to.
You suck.
He's just trying to relate to the.
I was trying to show him that he's not the only one that is experienced with cattle. Yeah, I did do that, by the way. And if you would have knocked my teeth out, nobody would have faulted you.
Oh God!
Just lasso.
The only weird part is when you were doing the lasso, you're moving your hips. Too.
Yeah, because he wrestles cattle with a hula hoop on.
I tied my shirt in a little knot like a prison girl.
Where were you brought up that you were doing that?
Brought up in Texas, born and raised there.
All right.
Definitely, we always had cattle and horses, and
Yeah.
was working on ranches all through high school. Went to college, kept working on ranches. After I quit college, I decided I want to be a cowboy for a living.
Wow, so you were on a horse from the time you were a kid, though.
Yes, I
Yeah.
started riding early age.
Look at this. See, we got a lot in common.
Yeah, you kind of
Except,
do.
I didn't make any commitment whatsoever to anything except
He went off and acted
dumbass
like
show.
a man, and you pretended you were Popeye.
He's living with somebody his age. He doesn't have to do a big Christmas every year.
Chris, you're obviously out of the military, right?
Yes,
So what do you do for a living now? Because you're a young guy. How old are you?
37.
37. And have all this experience behind you. What do you do now?
Craft International is the name of the company that we're still providing training to the military.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
I can't be in the military anymore to save my marriage, so this is my way of still giving back, trying to prepare guys before they go overseas. And I mean, we're not claiming to have, hey, you come to ours and you're going to be 100% successful, but here's a tool for your toolbox. Maybe it'll come in handy when you're down there. And we also provide security. We do a lot of the anti-piracy stuff and personal protection here stateside.
How did you deal with being away from your wife and family for so long? Like, what was the longest you've been away from them?
8 or 9 months.
Jesus.
Yeah, you get used to it. It's the job. That's your way of life.
But you're out there a lot. I mean, me and Jimmy went over there. I went over there a couple times, and there's guys that are on the base a lot and get to use they have a lot of. I mean, the bases in Iraq were, I thought it was going to suck, but they had Skype and great food, and it wasn't as bad as you think it would be. But you're not, in there all the time. You're out in some fucking house waiting for some douche to walk out with a grenade. So how do you deal with not? I get homesick after a couple weeks being on the road. I couldn't imagine 9 months.
Jimmy's face.
I'm serious.
I know, I do know, but it was just funny watching you go through that process, and like we
It's
were
almost like watching you go through.
I wasn't sure if you were going to ask a question. You're somehow relating his being a sniper in Iraq to the stand-up tour at the Wilbur Theater. Dude, I understand what you're saying, because sometimes I'll have to stop at an Arby's, and I don't know what.
I'm gonna be away from home for 2 days. It's killing me.
That's exactly what I'm saying. 2 weeks for me away from home, I'm fucking freaking. I couldn't imagine 9 months. And then over there.
Oh, you definitely miss them. My wife would send me DVDs so I could see my kids growing up.
Jesus.
And I'd be able to call, and you try to call to when everyone's going to be awake, and you can actually talk to the kids, or depending on how young they are, so you can just put it there so you can hear them grunt or whatever.
Oh,
That is odd that they got that now. Like you think back at World War II and Korean War, Vietnam. Like, imagine having that type of connection with your family, even though it sucks you're away from them, but having that kind of connection through Skype or something.
Oh, it's amazing
back then,
dude. Over there, I thought it was going to be just tents and mud. I mean, we went to the mess halls.
Yeah,
were fucking like a Vegas buffet. Like, I mean, it was crazy. I thought me and Colin, the fatties that we were, because he was fat back then too. We thought we were going to starve, so we brought little bars and stuff there's going to be no food. There was more. I gained 30 pounds in Iraq. There was. You go to the buffet. There's Chinese food, mac and cheese, barbecue, pizza, ice cream. You could walk up to this ice cream and get as many ice cream bars and sundaes as you wanted.
Yeah, were you privy to that?
No.
You
went to the big, nice bases.
Yeah.
That's not
Were you
where
Air
we
Force,
were.
Bobby? We went over. The Air Force had the best food, I think.
Air Force
they
was
do.
the Air Force was the best base ever.
Yeah.
They had a fucking room with just computers, pool tables, and video games.
Wow.
In the middle of the desert, in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
and then we went to the Marine base that had, you know, they had like they did have like just a tub full of shit.
That's
usually
like, what you eat.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It was definitely, it was in the middle of nowhere, 20 miles off the Syrian border. I got off the plane with my 2 light sticks because I was scared because it was so dark out. And the guy starts yelling at me, "You want to get shot in the head? Put those light sticks away."
Yeah, what are you doing?
And they could explain why other people had handed you those light sticks. And said, "Look, when you get off the plane, just wave them wildly."
Colin said, "You look like a plane landing a plane."
But he didn't live like that. He was out in the field. I have to ask it. I'm embarrassed to ask this, but where did you poop? That would drive me nuts. No, if you're out in the field, though. Like, you walk around the city, you can't find a place to take a dump.
That's a good, actually.
Most of the restaurants won't allow you to go in.
Just poop in a hole.
Usually you have your MREs with you, and you crap in the bag.
Oh, they give a bag to shit in?
Well, the MREs come in a bag. Usually after you eat your meal, you just hang on to that bag.
That's for meals ready to eat.
Yes. And then what do you do? You leave the bag behind, I hope, right? You're not carrying out your own poop.
You're supposed to take everything out.
Oh, God, really?
Serious?
You didn't, though, right?
So like camping?
Not always.
Not camping?
Nah, you're pooping wherever
People
you
are
can.
shooting at me. Excuse me, I'm going to leave my shit here.
Someday on a rooftop.
Imagine the cranky ass you would have on a rooftop after pooing in a bag.
Wow.
But the beauty is somebody's going to find a bag of his shit 6 months from now on a roof. That is kind of a fucking great feeling.
Probably use it as fuel.
I'd love to do that here in the city. Bags of shit on the apartments. All right. We're just getting stupid at this point.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
fascinating talking to you. And,
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
book looks unbelievable. I wish I'd had more time to read it.
Good sense of humor, too, Chris.
Well, I was trying to portray my actual personality in the book to show people that I am just an average guy. I like to cut up and don't take myself too serious. And there's so many guys out there that are a lot better than me, so I'm not trying to portray myself as the world's greatest sniper. I just happen to be in certain situations, and I made some lucky shots and came out okay.
Do you find what's worse than regular civilians who never did military service trying to relate to you on that level? Like, we'll ask questions shamelessly, like
shamelessly,
like girls. But when a guy tries to
like girls.
But I mean, how insulting is that when a guy tries to relate to you, like he knows and he has no idea what he's talking about?
You get it every day. You just get used to it.
You do, right?
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's curious. There's certain areas of life that I don't have any experience with that I'm sure I annoy the hell out of people. Keep asking questions about that. So,
but you could snap their neck.
Yeah.
He's a sniper. He's not a kung fu expert.
Well, look, yeah, you know what?
Did you see it? Probably has some military training.
Kind of looks like he could be,
martial arts training.
Yeah. Why don't you challenge him, Bobby?
So what?
Exactly.
I'll do
you can
Xbox.
snap your neck.
I'll beat him in Xbox.
That barracks ice cream eating that you were talking about.
Yeah. So I was over there. I had 2 milkshakes. One of the Marines goes, "You going to have both of those, fatty?" So I gave him one, and then my other one fell. I had to go back and get 2 more.
You asshole. Oh, that's fantastic.
But do you know when you walked out with 2 milkshakes, the other guys probably look at you and go, "That's what we're fighting for."
And then they all desert. That's why they call it deserting. Bobby was deserting.
You just put it together. You just put it together.
All right, let's get Chris out of here. He's a very busy
Yes,
man.
Chris,
Thanks so much,
Thank
man.
you very much.
It's the worst of the Opie and Anthony show.
We'll have more of Opie and Anthony's Red, White, and Boo. Get it? It's supposed to be blue. Ugh. Memorial Day special when we get back.
You're listening to Red, White, and Boo! The worst of Opie and Anthony Memorial Day special. More coming up. Yeah, Red, White, and Boo! The worst of Opie and Anthony Memorial Day special continues. Here's your host, comedian and guy who went to Iraq once, Bob Kelly.
Hey, it's Robert Kelly, and I'm using a fucking bandana right now in an air-conditioned studio to wipe my fat forehead off because I'm sweating. And I'm hosting the Opie and Anthony Red, White, and Boo Memorial Day weekend special. Our horrible attempt at saluting those who have served their country proudly. We continue with Chris Kyle. This time, conspiracy radio host Alex Jones claims that Kyle is lying about punching Jesse Ventura.
We get them both on the phone, because that's the way we roll. Controversy, we're not afraid. Hit the button, put them through. Go at it. We'll mediate. We put them both on the phone so Alex can confront Chris. And you know what happened? Ha! You're going to have to listen. Some crazy shit.
It's the worst of the Opie and Anthony Show.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
What's up, Chris?
Not much. How y'all doing?
Well,
Good, buddy.
you told the story on our show that you punched Jesse Ventura in a bar. And, wow, the story took off, man.
Was this the first place you've ever told that story publicly?
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, for a big audience like that, I mean, the event is in the book, but I purposely left his name out because I didn't want that whole thing to take off like that. And then ever since then, I've been trying to kind of deflect questions from it because not trying to make money off of putting him down or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got a tip that it was Jesse Ventura. We asked you, and you decided to say yes to that and admit it was Jesse Ventura. Because, like you said in the book, it's very vague. You said you punched a guy, fuzzy-faced guy, was it? Was that the exact?
Yeah, scruffy face.
Scruffy face, right. Well, a lot of people are now calling you a liar, including...
I believe you, by the way.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, so far we believe you, absolutely.
They can call me whatever they want because I know this thing has gotten so blown up that the only way to actually put it to rest is the witnesses. I have asked them to stay out of it to where finally now I've said, you know what, just go ahead, come out with it.
Oh,
and
okay.
we can put this behind us.
Oh, you have
Good
actually
idea.
asked them to speak up because there was audio we heard of Ventura, of course, you probably heard it too, where he's denying ever meeting you, and he's harping on the fact that a crime has been committed and maybe he should file charges.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely should if he thinks that's right.
Do you regret it at all?
You know what? I wish I would have handled it differently. I mean, the story, I think, definitely needed to be in the book like it is. But as far as, I probably should have played it down to where his name didn't get out there. But you know what? It is now, so I'm...
What exactly happened, Chris? If you could just refresh, because a lot of people might not have heard you on that moment. Just if you could give us a brief, just kind of sum the story up so people know what we're talking about.
It was a wake for Mikey Monsoor, and of course all the families were there. And he was there. He started getting loud and voicing his opinion coming out against the war and the troops and everything. So we asked him to keep it down, and he got belligerent about it and finally said we deserve to lose a few.
Yeah, that's way over the line.
Now, was he was there, this was in a bar, just so people know.
Yes. It was the outside patio portion of a bar, and we were standing on the sidewalk of it.
Now, was he with anybody, or was he alone, to your knowledge?
No, I mean, he was definitely there at the bar with people.
Oh, he was with people. So there's a few people that saw this?
Oh, there's a bunch of people that saw this.
Yeah, and they've spoken about it like in smaller circles over the years. It's not like this has been a complete secret.
Oh, no. I mean, the entire community has known about this.
And there's a there's a radio guy who's friends with Jesse Ventura who thinks that we all scripted this together. I guess because Opie just happened to look over.
Yeah.
And at the instant feedback, which is the one time instant feedback actually, gave us something helpful.
Actually, it was a phone call.
Oh, a phone call? Okay.
It seemed like it might have been someone that really knows Chris Kyle and was kind of just, hoping that you were finally going to mention the name. But Alex Jones says that it's a conspiracy. We were in on the conspiracy, even though we just met you that morning. And, by the way, we thought you were awesome.
Yeah.
We think you're the greatest.
People loved you on the show, man.
And they also, Alex Jones also says we scripted the whole thing. So we helped you along, and we got together and we came up with this whole thing.
Right, I've heard all those rumors.
Yeah. Jesse was the wrestler. He did the scripted stuff, not other people.
And also, I love how Chris Kyle's admitting that he told us first, because Bill O'Reilly took this fucking story and stole it from us, that cocksucker. That cocksucker.
Yeah, he kind of ran with it like he just, whatever.
Well, we got Alex Jones on the line, too. He wants in on this. You cool with that, Chris?
Definitely.
All right. Hey, Alex.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Alex.
Welcome to the Opie and Anthony Show.
Hey, I like the show. I also like Norton when he's on the boneyard.
Right.
Thank you very much, man.
Don't kiss ass right now.
Well, we
Why,
got
so nice.
Don't kiss people.
No. Let's not kiss anyone's ass right
I
now.
actually
All
listen
right?
to that. Hey, I actually listen to that channel. I mean, so I'm just saying I listen to it.
You're kissing a little ass because you know you're in a tough spot right now, sir. Why did you call us liars, and why did you say that we were in on a conspiracy with Chris Kyle and that we scripted this thing?
Okay, well, number one, I'm not in a tough place. I was just trying to be friendly. I just woke up about 15 minutes.
No, you're in a tough place. Jesse Ventura.
I'm not in a tough place.
Jesse Ventura lied on your show.
Infowars.com.
Jesse Ventura lied on your show, sir.
Alex, so what happened? You thought that we scripted this with Chris Kyle, which is ludicrous. What are you thinking there?
No, let me tell you what I meant by that. I'm saying the way he was talking, then somebody calls in with it, and the way he was talking, I think it was scripted. I did not think and did not say that I thought you guys were in on the lie. I was watching your face on the video, and it looks like you're, there believing it and hearing it for the first time. So you guys aren't even on the radar screen as far as I'm concerned with this whole deal. But I know Jesse pretty damn well and see him get tears in his eyes and stuff when he talks to troops in airports and stuff. I mean, quite frankly, if he sees troops, he runs over or they run over to him, and it goes on. And it's the same thing about it's the politicians that have sent you, and it's wrong, and it's terrible what's happening to you, and all this stuff. So when I heard him talk about punching him and knocking him down, I thought, well, that sounds wild, but could be true. But as soon as he said the thing on O'Reilly and stuff about, he said, you deserve to die. You guys deserve to die when the family's right there. That is made up, period. I knew it was bull then, and guaranteed. Ventura, I've never even heard him. After I did that interview the other day on Skype, he was like, heard him like almost crying in the background, and his wife totally angry. So believe me, Ventura's not getting ready to depose people and go absolutely ape over nothing. He doesn't have people over there at that McPee's place getting getting affidavits signed and stuff for nothing.
All right, listen.
Totally made up.
All right, listen. So you have no doubt that Chris Kyle did not punch Jesse Ventura.
No, what I just said is I was going back to when I watched the video last week when he first said.
Did Chris Kyle punch Jesse Ventura or not?
Well, let me just stop you right there. Ventura denies that it ever happened.
And do you believe that?
Absolutely. But what I'm telling you is watching the video, knowing Ventura, knowing him well, I'm watching the video, and the guy's saying, he was talking about the war and punched him. I'm thinking, well, that might have happened. When he gets to the part about, he said the SEALs deserve to die, and when he said it on O'Reilly, it looked really scripted by him. He was following a script. I knew it was pure bull, and as soon as I talked to Ventura, as soon as I could get a hold of him, sure enough, he was completely dumbfounded.
Alex, we got to jump in a little bit because don't forget, Chris is not a public figure, so he's not used to speaking publicly. So when he's talking about things that he's not used to talking about on Bill O'Reilly, a show he's probably watched for 10 years,
right,
it might be a little bit more nerve-wracking. And we do have Chris here to respond to that. We have to let him respond.
Yeah.
Chris, how do you feel about it?
He'll get to respond in court.
Well, no, I mean right now, Chris.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've got the people that are definitely going to come out, and some of them are the family members that were there, so I'm not too concerned.
And Chris, what did he say about the Navy SEALs dying? I think that's being misquoted. What
you
did
are
he say?
misquoting it, Alex.
What did he say, Chris?
He said you deserve to lose a few.
Deserve to lose a few.
Yeah, that means deserve to die.
What it means and what was said.
Don't try Perry Mason crap.
You've been misquoting the man the whole time you've ever.
Hey, Kyle, you think you're going to make a big name for your new American mercenary force to help knockheads of American people? Think again. I know all about Richard Pearl, all about your trips to Israel, all of it, buddy boy.
Who is Richard Pearl?
Who is
Richard Pearl?
Alex, I'll give you that.
Who is Richard Pearl?
Yeah, it'll all come out.
And by the way, Alex, we're not giving you...
Who is Richard Pearl?
And we're also not giving you Perry Mason stuff and playing semantics games. The difference... To me, it's more believable for Jesse Ventura to say, you guys deserve to lose a few, than to say something as harsh as, I'm glad Navy SEALs are dying.
Exactly.
There is a difference in believability in what one guy would say, and I don't think Jesse Ventura would come out and go, I'm glad a soldier is dead.
Look, that's the same thing, and that's how...
No, it's not!
...selling it, that he was... that that he's saying the Navy SEALs deserve to lose a few. That is saying lose a few means die.
It absolutely does. But there is a difference in the way you say it. One is more believable to me.
Listen, I hope for your sake that you are telling the truth. And Ventura's so freaked out by this, he's saying, do they have a body double of me or something? Let me tell you, I talked to him
That's
off
paranoia.
he is completely flummoxed and dumbfounded.
I'm flummoxed and dumbfounded.
Chris, Chris, were you tempted to put Jesse's name in the... Because, Alex, one thing that makes this more believable to me is that Chris did not
put the name
in the book.
The publisher probably said he couldn't prove it.
The publisher...
Now, Chris Kyle is saying today, Alex, that he can prove this, and a lot of the guys that know about this, he finally told them, yeah, you could tell everyone what you saw that day.
Okay, well, that's not what the owner of the bar is going to say.
Now, Chris, why didn't you put it in the book, honestly?
Because I didn't want this whole reaction to come out here.
Yeah, see?
I'm not trying to sell my book off of making someone else look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, Alex, is it possible, because we heard you calling Chris, he called it the turkey shoot, and is it possible that your agenda, look, you don't like the war, it's common knowledge, and you love Jesse. Isn't it possible that your agenda is skewing the way you're looking at this?
Well, yeah, I mean, we all see through rose-colored glasses, and, I'm a Texan, I mean, I'm sure Kyle at some point is a, friendly guy. My whole issue here is when I say turkey shoot, not that I follow too much of this military stuff, but I have a lot of families in the military. And, of course, there's the big joke about, the Hajis don't know how to aim a gun. My God, there were people there who couldn't believe the kill numbers everybody was getting. I mean, when you're shooting women running around with hand grenades and you're shooting, plus there's all the contractor footage of them playing Elvis music and shooting whole families out of their cars and then dropping AK-47s on them. I mean, that's the big joke. Every armored vehicle, and Kyle knows this, is full of drop guns. And they splatter a whole bunch of people at a checkpoint or whatever, drop an AK-47 on them. Y'all get, Bronze Stars for kills in combat. I'm not saying that's exactly what Kyle did, but it's all well known about Iraq.
Kyle, how do you...
Iranian war started.
Yeah, you were over there. You must have seen it, Alex, right?
Kyle, how do you respond to that? You got to let Kyle respond. You can't make an accusation like that and not let Kyle respond. He's got to respond. Kyle?
Well,
Chris, I'm sorry.
No problem. We've never had drop weapons on us, but I can tell you as far as the book, it's not sitting there trying to glorify all the people I've killed. It's trying to get across the sacrifices that a military member has to go through while he's overseas, and at the same time, my wife is telling the sacrifices she went through while here at home, and I'm trying to highlight the heroes that surrounded me that made me look good. And all through the book, I downplay myself.
And one thing you said, Chris, too, when you were on, is that people were trying to inflate the number to 2-something. And, Alex, you didn't hear the interview, but Chris kept going, no, I'm happy with it. This is fine. Like, I don't need any more numbers attributed to me.
He was downplaying everything that day.
And on your show...
Let me be clear. I think in war, a sniper is an honorable position. People always try to, make it look bad. I've interviewed a lot of snipers like Colonel Craig Roberts and others when he did in Vietnam. And I'm not downplaying that, that Chris can't shoot a gnat off a fence post at 1,000 yards. I'm simply saying that it's well known, just like with the Army helicopter shooting up the Reuters van, that as far as turkey shoot goes, there were times when you just have all sorts of mayhem and people being blasted in all directions, and it's a lot easier to be a sniper in the desert or in those built-up mount areas than it was in, say, Southeast Asia. I mean, that's my point about turkey shoot. Clearly, Kyle, would it have been harder to make 1,000-yard, 2,000-yard shots in Vietnam in the jungle or from a rooftop into a desert?
Oh, I am not claiming my war is any harder than Vietnam, and I give the Vietnam vets all the props because they definitely fought a harder war, and I give Carlos Hathcock all the credit as being the greatest sniper to have ever lived.
And Alex,
that's all I was saying, guys.
Okay, something you said too, which I thought was a little unfair. But you said that Chris is bragging about shooting women, and the way you painted that, and we played the audio, was that here is this guy going over to Iraq and he's come back acting like he's hot shit for killing women. But when Chris described that shoot, he was really specific.
He was bothered by it.
About being bothered.
I read quotes, and in fairness, the media does take things out of context where it's talking about...
No, you take things out of context because you made it sound like he was bragging about shooting women.
But he didn't brag.
When if you listened to the actual interview and not transcripts, you would have heard Chris Kyle being very bothered by the fact that he shot a woman.
I had time to watch the entire interview. All I saw was like a 3-minute clip on the internet.
No, we understand that, but we're saying was when you're quoting something and you're painting this guy, there's a big difference there. You were painting him as this cavalier ass who was bragging about shooting a woman, and what he was telling us Chris, I think, is that you made absolutely sure she had a grenade. You could see it through your scope. You were being told, yes, you have to take her out because she's walking towards Marines. Like, he saved U.S. soldiers' lives, but the way you painted him...
Look, all I'm saying is this. Even the Dallas Morning News said there's something creepy, and I'm not even saying this about Kyle, about on TV constantly, especially the host and people smacking their lips, and maybe that's where I'm picking this up. You guys didn't really do that, but some of the other shows getting all excited, tell us more about killing the people, tell us more. And it's just at a certain point, it's disgusting, and I don't want to hear about it. And I'm not saying Kyle's even bad for that. It's true. Now that I've seen more of the interviews with him, he's not the one getting off on it. Some of the hosts are. And I just know all the people I know from Vietnam, World War II and places will never even talk about it. So I'm just saying, hearing all of this stuff. I mean, I remember one time I was at the deer camp, and I was about 10 years old. There were all these old World War II vets there in Buffalo, Texas, just south of Dallas, where we've got a ranch. And Kyle's from that general area, and I'm sitting there pulling on their leg at 5 a.m. while they're cooking biscuits and gravy before we go hunting. Tell me a war story. Tell me a war story. Tell me a war story. And one old guy who was a tank commander going into Germany, he said, okay, there was this woman looked like Marilyn Monroe, walked up and opened up her trench coat and pulled out a rifle, so we cut her in half. Now, there's your story. Don't ask me anymore. I understand that war is ugly. I've got all that stuff. All I know is I don't believe that Jesse Ventura said you deserve to lose a few, and unless he was drunk, and the problem is Jesse hasn't had alcohol in like 15 years because of blood clots. He has to take medicine for blood clots. And I know Kyle's thing that, now that I've seen him on O'Reilly, that he wasn't drinking. All I know is that the Jesse Ventura I know does not talk about and the troops, and always says, I mean, it's a line, he says the same stuff over and over again, that the troops are heroes, it's not their fault, it's the military, it's the politicians' fault for failing and sending them there and lying about WMDs. And so when Chris says that, I mean, and again, right now he sounds like a nice guy, so I'm completely blown away by this because Ventura sounds credible. Kyle, right now sounds calm and nice, and I mean, I don't know what kind of psyop this is or what this is, but let me just tell you, it's a big deal.
Well, okay, we do have a problem because Chris Kyle's saying it happened and Jesse Ventura saying it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And we heard some audio of you, and you said that you don't even believe Jesse Ventura was in the bar that day because he doesn't drink.
Well, yeah, that was probably then like last Thursday or Friday before I talked to Jesse. And then Jesse says, yes, I was there for graduation, but I wasn't there speaking. It was something about numbers that are the same as another class.
Yeah, we heard that part.
So you think Chris Kyle's lying?
I don't believe that Jesse Ventura said you deserve to lose a few.
No. All right, fair enough. But do you think Chris Kyle punched Jesse Ventura and knocked him down?
I told you that when I first was sitting there, they come in during a break when I was on the radio like last Thursday, and they said, have you seen this, from the Opie and Anthony show? And I said, no, seen one. They said, here it is. They pulled it up on screen, and I started watching it. And he says, he was in there talking about the war, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, well, maybe there was a fight. And then when he gets to the part about, you deserve to lose a few, I was like, that's a bunch of bull. And so that was my initial response, is that I can imagine Jesse Ventura, sometime making somebody angry, talking bad about the war, and some type of altercation ensuing. But the part about him saying that, I cannot see that happening. And now that Jesse denied it, I have to believe Jesse. And let me tell you, Jesse's so shocked that another Navy SEAL would say something like this because he thinks they're all honorable that, off air, well, he even said some of it on air, he's like, my God, Alex, do you think like they had a double in there and this is some type of psyop?
No, hold on. Chris,
enough with the psyop.
Now, Chris, is it possible that you and Jesse were arguing or you were debating and he said something to the effect of, it's only natural you're going to lose a few, or are you 100% sure that he said it and with the intention that you heard it?
No. I feel the opinion that he said exactly what I thought he heard. Some other guys that were standing right there.
Oh, they heard it as well?
And I feel horrible about it coming out the way it had, and I'm sorry I handled it the way I did on your show. I guess I should have just denied it and said, I don't know what you're talking about. And I had no idea. And after all this has come out, I've listened to
different interviews of people trying to, say I'm lying and everything. I had no idea Mr. Ventura was thinking about public office, doing all this other stuff. I honestly have no idea who this Pearl guy is. So, no, I'm not part of some bigger thing trying to discredit him. And, yeah, I feel bad that now all of a sudden all this attention is on this. And I'm trying to get a story out there about, hey, y'all look at what the troops have to go through, take notice, and let's take care of these vets.
Well, Kyle, can I ask you a question?
Definitely.
You're setting up craft, and you say you're going to have basically diplomatic protection, training of law enforcement, all these groups. You've gotten awards from different international groups. I didn't know you'd be here, or I'd pull it up. I mean, have you gone to Israel and gotten police training?
No, sir.
So you haven't gotten awards from that American/Israel group that trains domestic U.S. police?
Well, I got a JINSA award, Jewish Institute for National Security Affairs. That's while I was still active. That was in 2005.
Yeah, well, just so you know, that's Richard Pearl, and he's known as the Prince of Darkness in the Pentagon. That's his nickname. But let's just expand on that for a moment. Do you know about the National Defense Authorization Act and how Congress just abolished the Posse Comitatus Act? I mean, you're a master sergeant, isn't it?
No, sir. I was a chief.
Chief, okay, a chief sergeant. I forget all these different titles and names. I mean, certainly you know what Posse Comitatus is.
What?
Sir, honestly, as far as when it comes to that, I have my business partners because my main concern is running the training side of the business.
I understand. But
what is Posse Comitatus? I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure I've caught it twice.
It means no worries for the rest of your days.
Why don't you shut up, Norton, and play some player?
I don't know. I don't know what Posse Comitatus means.
Oh, okay. That's the 1878 law barring the military from domestic law enforcement.
Oh, okay.
And Kyle, I mean, I'm just curious here. I mean, this sniper training and stuff. I mean, that's basically paramilitary training for the police, but I know they've had snipers before that. I'm just saying I see a lot of data points here, and I was thinking maybe you had been in an altercation with some big guy looked like Ventura. Maybe somebody told you that was Ventura. Maybe somebody put you up to talking about this, but, listening to you now, you sound dumbfounded. So I'm dumbfounded. I think that...
Leave the founded part off.
Yeah. Is it, Alex, is Jesse really that important in the end? That we have to take out Jesse Ventura and discredit him?
Okay, well, here's why Jesse's
It's a question. I don't know.
Okay, here's something I know isn't true. 100%. Because I probably talk to Jesse every few weeks or something, or he gives me a call, asks me about news.
Sorry about that.
Just get Ambien.
But my point is, I talked like 2 weeks ago. I called Jesse and I said, when are you leaving the U.S.? Are you going to be driving through Texas? If you are in your RV, stop by my house. And he's like, well, I think I'm leaving, in about a week or so. And he said, but let me call you in the next few days and I'll come on the radio before I leave town. I said, great. Say hi to your wife. Bye. Next day, phone rings while I'm on air. Jesse Ventura's got some breaking news. He wants to come on. Now, I've just called him in Minnesota, talked to him.
What happened?
His wife got him off the elliptical machine. I know he's in Minnesota, and it's all over TMZ, Fox News, that Jesse Ventura is rubbernecking, recklessly driving in California trying to get to the airport. Well, Jesse hasn't flown in 16 months. Anyway, so Jesse's saying, this is crazy. I think this is some dirty trick saying I'm, tailgating, being pulled over by police. I'm here in Minnesota. So he had to threaten TMZ to retract it. So first you have that false story come out. Fox runs with it. And then this other story comes out. And I'm telling you, if Jesse is lying, he is a better liar than even Herman Cain. If he's lying, he's one of the best liars I've ever seen.
So that means you're saying Chris Kyle's lying. Chris, there's no doubt in your mind that you punched Jesse Ventura that day, right?
Yes, sir, definitely. And Mr. West, you're a friend of Mr. Ventura's. I'd be more than happy if you would like to set up a time for me and him, not on the air, me and him to be able to talk, whether on the phone or in person. I'll be in California this week and Vegas the week after. I'll be more than happy to sit down, me and him talk, and settle this thing.
Wow, that would be a newsworthy event.
Well, why even make it on the news? I mean, I'm trying to
Alex,
all the
what's wrong with you?
questions on this. He wants this thing to go away. I fully 100% believe I'm telling the truth. You believe him. I think him and I could definitely clear the air on this.
Sure. Well, then I'll tell you what I'll do. if you can get me your number or your email, I'll give it to Jesse, and I know he's got.
Whoa! How about we do it on our show?
Well, no, I'm not even.
Whoa! What happened here?
He doesn't want to do it on any
How about
show.
we do a joint venture, Mr. Alex Jones?
If you want to get them both on together, that's fine.
We bring you Chris Kyle. You bring us Jesse. Let's do this.
That's fair.
Okay, I just don't think Jesse
In a cage. What?
I'm just trying to keep it from the public eye.
Right. Chris doesn't want it. Chris doesn't want a three-ring circus.
Hold on, Alex.
Chris, do you have audio Skype? Because the only thing that works from where he's at in the Baja is audio Skype to Skype. There's no phone lines, nothing. So I can. Look, I'll just send Jesse an email, and then I'll see if I can give you his Skype ID. I just need some way to give that to Mr. Kyle.
I do not have Skype.
We'll get it done off air. You don't want to give it on the air. We'll do it off air. That's easy. We'll just
one more.
Chris, just stay on hold when we finish and talk to our guy.
One more question for Alex Jones. I don't see the upside of Chris Kyle telling this story, considering his career in the military, and considering his new business there. Why would he take this chance and put this crazy lie out there?
Look, all I know is his book was already getting quite a bit of attention, but I mean, he got like 3 or 4 times the attention, and of course it did kind of distract in a way, but he did get a ton of attention out of this.
Yeah, it sold a lot of books. We know that, but in the end, okay, you sell a lot of books, but you destroy your military career.
Well, I know this. That is what's happening, because I've looked at the different SEAL websites and stuff. They're all mad and saying, even if this is true, and they're all saying they didn't hear of it happening and they think they would have, that this makes it look like SEALs are all talking crap about each other. And it just makes the SEALs, I mean, even if you believe Ventura said that, it makes it horrible that he'd say lose some, and it makes it horrible that Chris Kyle would talk about it.
But as I can tell by the way you're talking, this Chris is not the way you thought, like you originally might have interpreted him. And I think that you're seeing he's a lot more of a real and believable guy.
Yeah, I mean, in the clips I've seen, especially on your show, I mean, he came off as kind of scripted on O'Reilly, and I see what you're saying, as he probably was nervous and so was just thinking about what he was going to say. And because I'm in the media so much, so are you guys. You almost forget you're even on air. It's like the opposite problem. You forget you're on air.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I got butterflies like I did 16 years ago. and then at the same time, when I saw him on your show, he just seemed kind of like smirky and arrogant. And, like it was real funny, and now he doesn't sound like that. So, I mean, it does sound different.
Alex, could you meet Chris maybe 1,000 yards south of the Stratosphere Hotel in Vegas? Yeah, he'll send you a message.
Hey, by the way, I'm from Texas, too, and I've shot a deer at 1,000 yards. I haven't shot an Iraqi at 2,600.
Yeah? Did the deer have a grenade?
700, 308. I
doubt
can
it.
shoot deer at 1,000 yards all day long.
You're all man, Alex.
Well, I'm not a Bronco rider. I mean, I didn't do it professionally like Kyle, but I have. I did work for a large animal vet for a couple years, and I've run the electric dehorners and the hot shots, and I've inoculated 1,000 cows in one day.
All right, I think we're good, but we appreciate you guys.
Cow arms. Laying there.
We appreciate you both coming on, and Chris, we'll talk to you off air for a second.
Yeah, we're in a quandary, sir.
I believe Chris.
I believe Chris.
I think that, hey, look, they had a good discussion, and Chris explained himself, and all right, fair enough.
And Alex, officially, you believe Jesse?
Folks should go to Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com and watch the full interview at Infowars.com and see who you believe. Yes, I believe Jesse, but here's the deal, Chris. I guess I can contact your publisher and try to get your contact so I can put you in touch with Jesse?
Definitely.
Okay, well then I'll just tell your publisher to who should I contact with the publisher?
William Morrow.
No, but they're going to be getting so many calls. Just
wait, do it off air because you're going to have a bunch of names flying around.
Yeah.
We'll get it to you off air. The real name from Chris.
Yeah, I think it might be Ted Scheckler.
Well, whatever we do,
it's Ted Scheckler, Alex.
Situation, because this is definitely turning into a mess.
All right, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, we do it all together, though. We do it all together nice.
Alex, thank you for coming on.
You bet, thank you.
Take care, buddy.
All right,
and,
Alex,
Chris,
enjoy the boneyard, all right?
Yes, appreciate that. And Chris, if you're not going to be in Phoenix January 27th and 28th when I'm working in Tempe, I meant to say Tempe at the Improv. Talk to our guy off the air and give him your info.
And if he's not going to be in Cleveland, because I'll be at the Improv that weekend, then he can come to that show.
Love the plugs.
Chris, you created a lot of talk there, sir.
Yes, man. Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, guys.
I don't see why you would lie about this one.
I don't either.
No doubt.
Yeah, so when are these guys coming forward, you think? The witnesses?
They're starting to now. They're already talking to other people, getting it all set up, and they're getting them all together.
Can we help in that way, or how are you guys going to do it? Because you got to get it to the media somehow.
That's what we're trying to figure out, the best way to do this. That way, I'm trying to avoid a three-ring circus. I'm trying not to defame Mr. Ventura and, kind of trying to knock the legs out from him. I'm just trying to get all the guys together. I gave them the contact person of who they need to get in hold of and give their story, and then trying to figure out the best way to come out with this so it doesn't look like, this thing continues on and we're just here to bash him. We just want this thing to end and go away.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you calling in today.
Take care, buddy. We'll talk to you off air.
Thanks, man.
All right, Chris, I'm putting you on hold. Hold on.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow, that's cool.
I think Alex, hearing him talk, knows that this guy is not a bullshitter.
Exactly.
He ain't going to throw his friend under the bus, but you can listen to Chris Kyle.
Yeah, he's in one of those positions where he can't throw his friend under
that
the bus.
that was his.
You hear that, Alex?
Yes, I'm sitting here.
You heard that, right? You now believe Chris Kyle after you heard him on our show.
Well, I think he's more believable.
No, I think, listen.
Where'd he go?
Oh, no.
In the first interview, he seems concerned.
Hello?
Situation. I just think this whole thing.
Hello?
Yeah?
Am I even on air? Because I hear the phone going on and off here.
Are you clicking off because I'm hearing half what you're saying?
Yeah, get a better phone. It's not our problem.
No, I'm sitting right here.
It's psyops.
So I'm sitting right here. Psyops is going on. They don't want what you have to say on the air for some reason.
No, I don't think that's what's happening. When I said
I don't think that's what's happening. He gives us a proper response. No, I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't think. Au contraire.
Infowars.com.
Infowars.com. All right, Alex.
Enjoy your day, sir.
Alex.
I believe Jesse Ventura, and it's all going to come out.
Hey,
right.
We'll see.
The worst of Opie and Anthony presents Red, White, and Boo. More must-hear military moments coming up.
Hey, it's Troy. I'm kidding. It's Robert Kelly. I have a man voice. And I'm hosting Opie and Anthony's Red, White, and Boo, our horrible attempt at saluting those who have served their country proudly. In this segment, we talk to R. Lee Ermey. You know him as the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, but he's a former U.S. Marine Corps gunnery sergeant. That's right, he's the real fucking deal. We talked to him about his military service, but it quickly turns into being all about Full Metal Jacket. Bye.
It's the worst of the Opie and Anthony Show.
Hoorah! Here's Gunny.
How's everybody doing this morning?
Great. Fantastic now.
I'm proud of you guys. Satellite radio is the rage of the age. I have it in both of my cars. And
what are you on? What kind of cars?
Wouldn't trade it for anything.
What kind of cars? You got the Willys?
I'm rich, and I've never bought a new car in my life. I'm just too conservative.
Is that it?
I have an 86 Mercedes SEC that I'm customizing, and it's I have another 450 SL Mercedes that's a 77.
Yeah.
Wow. But I like the old cars.
You like the older ones?
The new ones are all plastic. You know that.
What do you listen to on XM?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
You check out Dylan's show yet?
Don't know. You have to understand that my time in the car is pretty limited, and it's from L.A. and I live in Palmdale, west of Palmdale, not in the desert. And
why would he listen to that goddamn hippie?
So what I generally tune into is drive time talk political shows,
right,
because I need to stay abreast of what's going on politically.
Yeah, I love watching Mail Call. It's one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites too.
Letters, but you get to do some stuff that dream come true.
It's the coolest job in the world. I was telling the guys out there in the green room just a while ago that Monday I spent the entire day down in Tennessee. flying a P-51 Mustang.
Oh.
And dogfighting and doing barrel rolls, and it was a 1945 vintage P-51.
Wow.
What a fantastic day! A mail call episode.
Nothing came up.
Absolutely not. I don't do that.
You don't throw up. You didn't throw up.
It's all mind over matter. I don't blow chunks. You know, it would be an embarrassing situation if I did. I've done the F-15. I've done so many different airplanes and every helicopter in the military's arsenal. And if I blew chunks,
that would be embarrassing.
They wouldn't invite me back.
No,
we got to introduce you to Bob Kelly because this guy. All you have to.
Hi, Bob.
All you have to say is whatever, and he'll puke.
Yeah,
well,
he's got a weak
He's the
stomach.
worst.
I did the Mustang in California for $1,000. Marine pilots will take you up 6,000 feet and give you the stick. In Torgasm.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was the plane you flew in Torgasm?
Yeah, you basically, they go ahead. I mean, they're still there.
Of course they're there.
You're just doing
in your case, I wish they would have jumped out with a chute.
It's easy to fly. Though.
It's very easy to fly, but literally at 6,000 feet, he goes, you do this to the stick, the plane goes like that, and you don't puke when you come back level and you see the horizon and you're still doing this after doing 4 Gs, I threw up twice. I filled up both bags.
No.
They changed my call sign to snacks to 2 bags.
Now you know why they charge $1,000. It probably cost half that to get somebody to clean the mess up.
Clean
the chunks out of the.
My wife is prone to seasickness, car sickness. You can't even drive across a bridge without her getting sick.
No,
I got sick in a Chinook when I went to Iraq to do some comedy, and they take you up in the Chinook helicopters, I think they're called, with the 50 cals in the window, the open.
It's old school. I'm sure Gunny spent enough time in some Chinooks.
Chinooks, the 46 is my favorite, the OCH 46. It's being replaced right now with the Osprey.
Hey, you see what's going on here, by the way? Bob Kelly's trying to make his puking sound cool.
He's trying to toughen up his throwing up in front of Gunny.
I was at 6,000 feet.
You saw a woman that
you throw up like a man. Right?
Let me explain, though. This week alone, we had a fat girl come in with a hernia sticking out of her belly button. He puked.
Yeah, he threw up and he looked at it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might kind of have a little problem with that myself.
It was a herniated. You could see the food pulsating through.
Oh, beautiful.
I actually saw her twin. Her twin winked at me through the hernia.
Like watching a horror show.
I just got to ask you about a little bit of your history and stuff. How did you get into acting? What went from the military to acting? How did you
11
pull
years
that off?
in the Marine Corps. I was a grunt. I was an instructor most of my tenure in the Marine Corps, and got hurt in Vietnam. Got retired out. I kept showing up for work, but they did retire me, and I've been with the Marine Corps for 45 years. I'll be with the Marine Corps till I die. I've been to the Far East or the Middle East 3 times, 2 weeks at a time. The Marine Corps gives me a couple of helicopters and CH-46 as a rule, and off into the combat zone I go. I wear the uniform, the flak jacket, Kevlar helmet.
I've seen on Mail Call and other shows where you're in the Middle East, you're with the troops, and are you surprised and flattered of the respect that you get from these soldiers? Because
I've earned that respect. I'm part of the Marine Corps. I take great pride in serving. I'll never let them down. I'll always be there for them. Nothing quite like jumping up on the hood of a Humvee out in the middle of the combat zone and getting the troops to laugh at your corny jokes, you know.
The way they treat you, though, is like you got stars on your shoulders. That's how they like it.
I don't know. Because everybody knows me. I spend about 200 days a year with the military, you know, and so these guys all know me, and they respect me because I treat them as they should be treated, with respect. And how did I get started? I found myself retired, standing outside the gate of the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego with my sea bag at my side, and that's all I owned in this world, thinking, what the hell am I going to do now, because I have no education to speak of. And then I thought, Hollyweird is just up the road. 40 miles. I can go to Hollyweird. I wrote a script, and I was a good instructor. And in order to keep tired recruits, 1,000 recruits awake and laughing at your corny jokes, you got to be pretty on your toes. So anyway, I was a good instructor. I figured, what the heck? I wrote a script. I went to Hollywood and I did comedy clubs for a year. I was up there doing comedy. And God help the individual that heckled this.
It's sound in his face.
Talk about drive something up the wrong side of your body. Yeah. But that worked out good. And then one of my buddies, and I was sleeping on people's couches, and YMCA was good. But and I didn't have a car, couldn't afford a car. But a friend of mine told me, "Hey, Gunny, they're getting ready to do Vietnam War shows over in the Philippines." So I was single. I packed my gear and packed up my little sea bag and jumped on space available at George Air Force Base and went back to the Philippines, met the right people, and got involved.
And that
rest of it's history.
And that movie was
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, of course it was.
You're talking Full Metal Jacket.
Of course it was.
That was film number 5, by the way.
Was it?
That was film number 5, and in a previous film I had taken, I was technical advisor.
Oh, Boys and Company C.
Yeah.
I think it was before.
Boys and Company C,
before.
Purple Heart, Siege of Firebase Glory,
Yeah.
it goes on. But I was able to take a role away from an actor, and they put him on the airplane, sent his young tail back to Hollywood, and I did his shtick.
Must have been very
so
impressed.
I knew you could take roles away from actors.
Now, since you weren't an actor walking into that, but you had done stand-up, wasn't that just a one-shot of you going around the troops at the beginning, giving your speech? I don't remember seeing a cut, and you had a lot of dialogue there.
Want to hear it?
Don't doubt.
I'll give you the clean version.
No, you can satellite.
Oh, you're okay with the bet with the?
You can say
anything you want to say.
Okay, this is not family related.
No.
It gets nasty. Okay, here you go. I am Gunnery Sergeant Ermey. I am your senior drill instructor. From now on, you will speak only when spoken to. The first and last words out of your filthy sewers will be, sir. Do you maggots understand that?
Yes, sir.
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you've got a pair.
Yes, sir.
If you ladies leave my island, if you survive recruit training, you will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death praying for war. But until that day, you're pukes. You're scumbags. You're the lowest form of life on earth. You're not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but a lot of little unorganized, grabastic pieces of civilian shit. My orders are to weed out all non-hackers who do not pack the gear to serve in my beloved Corps. There is no racial bigotry here. Here we do not look down on niggers, kikes, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
That's your stairway to heaven. That's your stairway to heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I've done that in about a year.
I was going to ask.
To see you do that, though, live is like, Zeppelin. Watching Led Zeppelin do Stairway.
Yeah.
My favorite line in the entire movie was something that I came up with. I lost my way, and I'm not the type of guy that will just stop. I'll continue until I get back on track and then finish the scene. But my favorite line came out of nowhere, and it was, "You look like the kind of person that would fuck a person in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around. I'll be watching you." And Stanley Kubrick jumped off the camera truck and said, "Lee, what's a reach around?" Use your imagination, Stanley.
Poor Stanley.
But that was a tremendous show. I loved doing that show, and I wrote most everything that I did in the show.
Yeah.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was allowed to do a lot of ad-libbing.
Great.
So the first time I did the sheriff in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there really wasn't anything written for the sheriff. So I had to basically come up with almost everything that we did, and it got to the point where we would do the scene the way that it was written. Then the director would say, "Okay, Lee, you do one." And they would let me do mine, and it was always mine that showed up in the show.
Well, that's what people want to see, you know? That's what they want to see out of you.
Worked out great.
Great, man.
Bring your barf bag. It's a bit hard.
Yeah, there you go. That's for you.
We had over a $15 million budget, and they tell me half of that was spent on stage blood.
Now, is it
nice and gruesome? Good.
I know it's gruesome, but is it scary? I mean, is it like Leatherface was like, oh man, this guy's coming.
There's a couple things that really bother us psychologically. One is we would never want to be eaten by an animal such as a white shark or a tiger.
Right.
you'd be attacked and eaten by an animal. That sucks.
Pretty horrific.
That really sucks. Yeah, and the other thing is being cut by a damn chainsaw.
Yeah.
No. Just the sound of that thing cranks up. And,
it's not a clean wound.
No, it's a ripping thing. The chainsaw had been cutting wood. It's not sharp.
No. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it because the first one, like I said, was great.
You know what else is scary, though? A man with a badge who's psychotic. That's what scares me. A cop, because you know, as soon as you see him, you trust him. That's a cop. You're going to save me. But then to find out he's a fucking lunatic.
And he can do what he wants with impunity.
And he's bringing to his creepy son.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, oh, I'm fucked.
My guy, the sheriff, is, I think Sheriff Hoyt is the second most favorite part that I've ever done.
Really?
I really enjoy him. I take every role that I do, and I've done 75 feature films, and every role that I've ever done, every character, I always push it to the limit. I try to get it right up where he doesn't go over the edge, but he's right up to the limit. Mm-hmm. Nothing aggravates me more than a director saying, take it down, bring it down a couple of notches, and less is more, which we know is a crock of shit. Less is not more. I don't know who came up with that, but they're full of crap.
Guy with a small dick.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Somebody who's sexually insecure. There you go.
The guy you're stealing the scene from.
But this guy with the big one knows where to go, And the beautiful thing about Sheriff Hoyt is, God, he's a sexually perverted homicidal maniac. There is no over the damn top with this guy, and they just let me go berserk, and I have a great time doing him. He's fun.
He's looking forward to seeing it.
Can we ask about your ring?
Yeah, I'm looking at that diamond. I can't take my eyes
That
off
would be the mother of all Marine Corps rings.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the my old ring I wore on my right hand. That's my change pocket, and I wore the emblem off of it over the years. And about 10 years ago, my wife asked me what I'd like for Father's Day. And I said, well, I pretty much need a new ring. We looked all over the PXs and couldn't find, they were the common, usual, not so cool rings. Mm-hmm. And so I sat down and I made a couple of sketches and gave her a pat on the butt and sent her off to the jewelry store, and she had this guy make this thing. It turned out a little bit larger than what I had in mind on paper.
I thought you were a rapper.
It's the Super Bowl ring of the Marine Corps.
Yeah. For you're bigger than life, so you ought to have a big ring.
But if you're secure in your masculinity, a man can wear jewelry,
That's true.
How many carats? I don't want to. A diamond.
That's 4 carats.
Oh wow!
But it didn't just. It wasn't
the jeweler's
born.
loop out of your eye, Rich.
It wasn't born being 4 carats. It was actually, when it originally was made, it was a ½ carat. And then every year, every Father's Day thereafter, my wife would take it and take it down to the jewelry store and kick it up a notch, And I do the same for her. So it was an investment, basically. Yeah. Over 10 years, it's evolved into a 4-carat diamond from a ½ carat.
Do you have kids? Do you have kids?
Well, you could call them kids. They're old kids. They're all over 20.
Imagine him being your dad, though. Having to wake up, you're late for school in the morning. I don't want to go. Get your
just fucked up, boy.
Look,
it's worse than the Great Santini.
Like it's yesterday.
Right? Yeah.
The Great Santini done it so much better than I did, though. I was kind of a failure when it come to being a father, simply because I was just gone all the time. And so I would come home. I would be home for a few days, just long enough to get him squared away, get the baggy pants off the boy, and get the skateboard away from him, and the next thing, I'd be on the airplane going away. I'd come home, and the wife would have taken him shopping by then, and he had all brand new baggy pants. Yeah, she was a pushover, and I was the disciplinarian. But the problem was the disciplinarian was always gone.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Did you make him cut his hair? Did he have to have a short haircut?
They were pretty neat up until probably when they were 16, 17 years old, and the hair is growing. My son has a lot of hair right now, and I point that out to him occasionally. He has too much hair.
Doesn't seem like you're very happy about it.
Yeah, but so be it. It doesn't do anything. He obviously he doesn't have enough respect for me to go cut his hair. So one of these days I'll have to come home with a couple of big guys, take him down, and just cut the dog shit out of his butcher his ass. Teach him a lesson.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm sure that'll work just great.
Wow.
He'll love me forever.
Yeah, don't hold back, man.
Percent-
You're right.
You can speak freely.
Did you hate? I mean, after you were done doing stand-up, were you glad? I mean, compared to acting, did you just hate the world around stand-up?
More money.
Yeah.
A lot more money. That's the only difference. I love doing stand-up. It's fun, and it's instant recognition, gratification.
Yeah, Rich.
And
what was better, a Chuckle Hut or Full Metal Jacket?
No.
Well, you know,
no.
Well, the thing is, the movies go on and on and on, you know, and like Full Metal Jacket, you know, we did that 20 years ago.
I know, it's amazing.
And it still goes strong today. There's not a day goes by what I don't sign a number of copies of Full Metal.
Yeah.
Jacket.
I did a thing for the troops called Full Metal Comedy. Where I went over there.
Oh,
You just compared yourself.
are you insane?
Compare yourself to a legend, you fucking blimp. How dare go puke in the bathroom, you jackass.
Put your midget hand down.
Okay.
Don't point at me with that finger. You use your elbow if you're going to point at me.
No
I
discipline
have
in
a
here.
concept to throw up to you here.
Yeah.
See what your opinion is. Now, we've done 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacres. Probably are. Chances are we will do a sequel to the prequel. And I was thinking, you know, right in the middle of the last show, I was starting to dribble and droodle and write and think about ideas. I think a huge, tremendously successful show would be a spoof on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I was thinking about I would name it. It would be a musical, comedy musical, and it would be I would call it New York Hacksaw Manicure. You know. Could you just imagine?
All right, who's going to do it?
Sergeant,
I'll do it.
you can imagine Sheriff Hoyt and Leatherface out there dancing around like a couple of fairies to, you know.
What happened?
Start up the.
Why don't you yell at him, Voss? You angry little Jew. Go ahead, yell at him.
First of all,
He just said something about a manicure.
so he made the right decision with acting. But here's the thing: he could take that ring and put a dent in my head if he
And he
wanted
should.
to right now.
And he should.
The other day, a fly. I was watching news in a hotel room, and there was a damn fly, and it landed on my head. And not even thinking, I hit that fly, and it nearly knocked me out. I saw stars for about a minute after that. You know? But this ring is a lethal weapon. I have to be very careful with it, you know?
God damn. Well,
my point was with that thing is that back then you say now comics make more money now. Because if you go, actors are actually turning into comics.
Dane Cook makes more money now.
You know how much money
Stop
he'd
with
make
comics.
doing stand-up? If he could fill a club. I mean, he'd make 30,000 a night.
But it's only the few. You know, it's only the few. It's the Eddie Murphys and the Whoopi Goldbergs. And it's like, you know, only a few of the comics really do make the big bucks.
No,
all the rest of them are stuck on Saturday Night Live making $150 a week.
No,
I mean,
that's my
back
point.
in the old
It
days, there was no money. I got paid $100 a stand-up when I was doing stand-up.
And what do you make, Rich?
Where was that? That's good.
$100?
Doing stand-up? Who are you talking to? I'm Rich Voss.
Do you know Rich Voss? Do you know Rich Voss from Last Comic Standing?
From Last Comic Standing, a tough crowd with Colin Quinn.
Yes, I watch.
Yeah.
Do you know him from it?
If you seriously, if you recognize just walking the street, me or him, who do you think you would recognize more, me or?
I wouldn't recognize either one of them.
Good answer. Thank God.
You, sir.
And I'm so glad
you,
Norton
sir.
isn't here. I'm so glad Jimmy Norton isn't here because it would upset me if you did recognize Jimmy. And Jimmy is a big fan.
The tough part is, you know, there's a lot of actors that are doing singing now. You know, they're going to singing. Of course, if you have a hit record, you make money. Mm-hmm. But you can sing all damn day and not have a hit record, and you're not going to make beans. You know, it's like writing that book. You first of all have to make back the $35,000 advance they gave you before you make a penny. Well, I wrote a book about 3 years ago, and the advance is all I saw.
That was it?
That was it, you know, and it's a good book, and they sold a bunch of copies, but it's got to be Harry Potter, you know, in order to make money on it.
What was it about?
Called Mail, Called the Book. And I took a bunch of the old scripts, and I hate to waste my time, and I'm sitting on the airplane 5 hours going from L.A. to New York, and from New York to L.A. and Seattle and Washington, D.C., and I'm wasting my time. So I got all the old scripts from Mail Call, and And I went back, and all the research was done already. So I went back and I just did I did a book.
Yeah.
I wrote a book and changed everything, of course, as far as dialogue and the way it works. But pictures, put some pictures in there, and I wrote a book, and they've sold thousands of copies. I know I've done book signings, and I've sold at least 10,000 copies of the book.
So you didn't see?
No, I haven't seen a dime. Haven't seen a dime. You got to sell 1 million.
You need a biography.
And the biggest problem is with these actors that are going into like stand-up, for instance. Okay, it should be the other way around, because from stand-up you go into acting, and there's where the big bucks is. You know, unless you are the main guy on the ticket, you don't make any money. You know, you get the audience warmed up. You know as well as I do. You've been there, did that.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. Yeah,
you know, you go and warm up the
Still there.
audience for Eddie Murphy, and what do you get? You get $250,
Yeah,
$300,
and the fat chick.
yeah, and the fat chick. That's it. But the fat drunk chick.
You should definitely write a book, a biography.
Yeah, biography.
You're in Vietnam, you said, right?
Well, I'm going to write a biography, but I'm not done yet, guys.
Yeah, I know, right? He's
I'm
not
so
done.
young. I want to wait until I get old.
Don't you want to have the money?
Then I want to sit around and write a book, you know?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
I want to wait. Actually, I want to wait until my dad dies, because I have a lot of really filthy, nasty things to say about him, and I don't want to have to do it while he's still alive.
He's worried about his dad, not his
Sorry
wife or his
about
kids.
that,
You can tell one story for us.
You gotta have something.
No, you know, my dad had me totally convinced when I was a kid that I thought my name was stupid. You know, and until I went in the Marine Corps, and they pointed out the fact that my first name was Ronald, my middle name was Lee, and last name was Ermey. I thought it was just stupid.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, he had all of us totally. I mean, you know, you don't call yourself, "Hey, idiot, come here." Well, that's my father, okay, in his drunken stupor. So it was like that's what I put up with, and that's what I was convinced by the time I got in the Marine Corps, that I was a total loser, a total idiot. And it, thank God for my 3 drill instructors. They pulled me out of that ditch, cleaned me off, and hosed me down and put me in the right direction, and convinced me that there wasn't much in this world that I couldn't accomplish if I set my mind to it.
Is that what drove you into the Corps? Like your
I was in the Marine Corps the day I was 17. I was on the bus, man. I was getting the hell out of Dodge. Yeah, I grew up on a farm in Kansas, a little farm, and my dad was an alcoholic tyrant, and he had 6 boys. That might have a little something to do with why he was an alcoholic tyrant. You know, 6 boys. Ooh, can you imagine? 1 year apart. I guess Mom and he didn't figure out what caused that, you know, until it was way too late. 6 kids later, they figured out how that happened. So, and on the farm back in the early 50s, we didn't have electricity. So, well, hell, when it got dark, you went to bed. Well, what do you do when you go to bed? You make babies, right? So you've got to have some entertainment. We didn't have TV back in those days.
It's just screwing is all you had to do.
That's it. Just go screw your brains out.
Wow.
Just go to bed. Come on, baby. Let's go to bed.
Make another baby.
Yeah, my first wife was, oh, Jesus, again? Didn't we just do this last week? Excuse me.
We have
but are
television.
You abnormally oversexed? Jeez, baby. Yeah.
Do you talk to your father now?
My dad's okay. He and I can't be in the same room for much more than 10 or 15 minutes. He and I believe we're differently politically. We're different. He is one of these Democrats that is totally 100% a Democrat, and I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is why are you a Democrat? I ask him. You can ask him who is the president of the United States. He can't tell you. He don't know who the vice president is. He voted for the Democrat on the ticket. He can't tell you what that guy's name was, and he can't tell you what he believed in or what he stood for. All he knows is that back in the 50s, the Democrats were union men. And he's a union man, and the reason he got decent pay when he worked for the railroad was because they went on strike, and the Democrats backed them up, the unions, and wow. For as far as he's concerned, he goes into the voting booth, He and his wife is instructed, and she's a yes lady. And they go in and they punch everything with a D beside it. They will not listen to, if they see something, a political person on TV that might be talking about, I'm running for president and I would like to have your vote and this is what I stand for, blink, he changes the channel. He didn't want anything to do with that.
How old a gentleman is he now?
He's 82 and he's not a gentleman. Don't
82.
make that mistake.
Okay. I was being respectful.
No.
I'm an ass.
No sense in being respectful. He's okay, but he and I get along fine now because I can kick his ass. You know? But it was a hard time growing up, and I was number 2. I had an older brother, and then I was number 2, and number 2 is always the guy that sucks hind tit, you know, eats the shit. And I was the guy that it was always my fault, you know.
Did you ever have that moment with your father where you finally crossed over, like you've been in the Corps for a while, and did you visit and then show him, like, listen, motherfucker,
No, I had to beat him at
and
arm wrestling.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was the only way I got the upper hand.
I was picturing some big dramatic scene of you taking your hat off and, come on, hit me.
Yeah, when I pinned him, and then I looked him straight in the eyes and said, and now you have some kind of an idea about what I might be able to do to you if you fuck with me anymore, you cocksucker.
Oh,
wow.
Uncomfortable.
But
Everybody looks away.
But he came around. Dad's not a bad guy. I get along okay with Dad now, but we have an understanding. You know, I have my beliefs. He has his beliefs. I grew up in a Democratic family, but I'm an independent.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with everything that the Republicans do, and I certainly don't agree with what the Democrats do. But, you know, I'm one of those guys that I've remained independent so that I can look at the individual, and I make up my mind, you know, by listening to what his ideas are, and I want to vote for the guy that's going to do the best thing he can for this country. Mm-hmm. What's pissed me off here lately is the Democrats and the Republicans. That seems to me like they've evolved into a situation where they vote for what's good for the party, not what's good for you and I or America, and that bugs me.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Guys, thanks for having me on board. It's been a pleasure being here. Semper Fi. Y'all have a great rest of the day, okay?
Hoorah! This is the worst of Opie and Anthony. Sirius XM. You're listening to the worst of Opie and Anthony. Red, white, and boo! Here's your host, Iraq War hero, Robert Kelly.
Hey, it's Robert Kelly, and I'm hosting Opie and Anthony's Red, White, and Boo. Our horrible attempt at saluting those who have served their country proudly. In this segment, we discover some of the old recordings of a DJ during the Vietnam War. Hello, Vietnam! That guy? No. In this segment, we discover some old recordings of a DJ during the Vietnam War who turned out being a former U.S. airman who were broadcasting illegally from a makeshift studio in the back of a whorehouse. This is the legend of David Rabbit.
This is the worst of the Opie and Anthony show on Sirius XM.
Speaking of Vietnam, I brought in a bit of audio today.
Spuds Buckley in the nom?
No.
Didn't me and you fly a blimp over Hanoi?
No.
And bomb? No? Oh, I thought we did something like that.
Well, we started a bit, I don't know, over a month ago now, old school Opie and Anthony. Basically because I'm finally unloading, you know, boxes and boxes of stuff. And today I bring to the show a radio show from 1970.
I remember that was the year we first got together.
No!
We were in Vietnam.
Old school Opie and Anthony doesn't mean it's all just our stuff.
Oh.
It's just stuff I've had in boxes for a very, very long time, and I found this, and wow, it's Dave Rabbit. This guy, like E-Rock was doing some research on this guy. I had no idea. I've had this tape. Actually, my good friend Stork.
Yes.
Stork from Huntington. He turned me on to this guy, Dave Rabbit, and we've had this tape for years. Like, I've had this tape probably for like 20 years at this point. And I gave it to E-Rock. It's on a cassette, another one of these cassettes, and E-Rock went through it and did some research. And I guess he's a hero on the internet, right?
Yeah, there's been this big thing surrounding him. They never knew who the actual guy was up until a couple of years ago when the guy finally came out and said, "No, this was
That was me."
And there's been clips of his broadcast circulated through the military for years, and nobody knew who he was. He has merchandise and everything that he made by hand back in 1970, where he was just drawing on old...
made out of ears and teeth.
No kidding. He would have some kind of paint, and he would just draw on these old sweatshirts and have Vietnamese kids selling them on the street for like $2-3.
Wow.
And these things are big collector's items. And now he's residing in Dallas, Texas.
So
how old is he?
He's
gotta be 40.
Late 50s.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, this tape is what, 37
Wait a minute.
to 38 years... No, he's got to be...
Late 50s, 1970.
Well, maybe.
Is 37 years ago.
So he could have been 20?
Okay, I suppose so.
The youngsters were going to Vietnam, so...
I think he's like 59.
All right, that's about right. All right, let's call him right around 60. And this isn't Good Morning Vietnam stuff, by the way, because Jimmy asked me before the show. This is not high energy. This is a guy that is smoking a lot of weed or dropping something, because he talks about acid a lot.
Some of the dope.
And he's just doing a show for the guys in the field, and these guys are listening on their little transistor radios, wondering if they're going to survive the day.
Yeah. Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why has he got to wear camo if he's on the radio?
I don't know. So his name's Dave Rabbit, and, you know...
He's going on a mission, I tell you, because we were all in camouflage when we bombed that TV station open.
Well, we had to take out the communications.
Yes, we did.
Wait, what did you yell at those people again?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I really, I don't remember. Anyway, continuing the old school Opie and Anthony bit we started a while ago. I present you with Dave Rabbit today from 1970, 1971. Just a taste here. We got a bunch of clips.
How did nobody know who he was? Were his pictures new, or were they always out, or no?
No, the pictures only came out a couple years ago. He actually released a letter to a couple of press organizations, stating the history behind the tapes, who he was, etc. Everything but his real name.
Yeah, I need to know more about this guy. So here we go. Dave brings the truth and hard acid rock. Listen to this.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host for the next 3 hours of hard acid rock music, Dave Rabbit. For those of you who have just recently come into the Republic of Vietnam, I'd like to give you a little information about it so your mind won't be quite so blown when you hear such words as and words of that nature. We're an underground radio station here, and we say what we feel like saying, and we bring the truth to the first-termers in the Republic of Vietnam. You got to change your evil ways. We also bring you hard acid rock music all through the night. The up-to-date music of today's American youth.
I like this guy.